I found this very interesting. This is Mr. MB333, and he is discussing something one of his viewers sent in about right up here on the top of the fish. Now, he's saying this is a rare discovery. Google Earth reveals huge secret in the Sahara Desert. Well, my secret is a lot huger, but still, this is very interesting. Now, so obviously I want to check it out. And again, this is on Mr. MB333. And he's being shadow banned, similar to myself, because he shows these kind of things. But I'd like to have him show the fish I'd like to have him show all my research, because my stuff, everything I have, overthrows everything that they show. And I have evidence. They don't. I do. Now, we're going to go look at this thing. But as again, you know that this is the dragon, this is the fish, this is the Sahara. And I wrote a book on this. Well, I didn't write a book. I wrote a paper. My friend puts books out, and he just put this book out, Paul Amatucci, about Atlantis and the draining of the Sahara. Atlantis is right here, and this was the Sahara Ocean. It drained out. And I think it must have had drained out. Now, this is back from 2015. That's 10 years ago. And it must have drained out, I think maybe when this fight between the fish and the dragon happened. But let's go look at these numbers. I found this very fascinating. All right, now, so here's him showing this. Here's what it was, right here in the middle of the Sahara, but this is right up on top of the fish. These are, well, here we go, hold on. Let's take, oops. I don't want that. I want this. Let's measure this from here to here. It's 170 inches. Well, let's put it into feet. All right, so we go from there to there. It's about 14 feet. That's not huge. The whole thing from here to here is 81, well, here's the thing I'm showing you that makes it interesting, and people will not necessarily notice. This structure has a membrane around it. You see that little circle? That's similar to what a bone is, or a membrane. And then this layer in between the next membrane is usually what they call a fluid-filled highway. If this is biological, I don't know. But you can see it comes out to here, and then you have another membrane area. Now, I don't want to go down there. This is blood. As far as I'm concerned, that's blood. Now, what this was, I do not know. But I know people have been out here. There's a lot of people been in this area. Now, are they walking down in there to do that? Why would they put those numbers there? They're kind of sloppy done, too. I don't know why anybody do it. No idea. Now, let's see what the height is. Here, the elevation is 240 meters. If we come over to here, the elevation is 238. It's like flat. 238 to 239, 240. So there's a tiny, 1 meter bump for this whole distance. 240, 240 everywhere, 241. So it's just the tiniest bit of rise. Otherwise, it's flat. And it's right here in the middle of the dragon spit. And you say, well, what dragon spit? Well, I'll show you the dragon spit. Let me turn it back around. Oops. Come on, everybody. All right. That's where we were, right there. All right, so this is the fish's fin. That is a gigantic fish. It's just what it is. Now, everybody says, oh, the fish is going that way. So I say it's going this way, and here's why I say it. You see the scales? These are scales. If it was going this way, the scales would flop open. Scales have to lay flat. You see the curve to him? This, I believe, is the tail. This curves, his body curves around, and this whole thing would have been his tail. All right, now, we just saw that thing up there. Well, I said it was dragon spit. Well, yes, it is. Where's the dragon? Well, he's right under the title here. Here he is right there. Now, that is Typhon in the desert, just as described in the ancient maps and the texts and everything. And he is spitting this stuff, this yellow stuff here. See it? That nasty, nasty, nasty yellow stuff? That is coming all the way down from his gut. And where is his gut? Way down here. I'm not kidding you. I'll leave the place marked there. It doesn't matter. That yellow stuff is coming out of some organ in here which creates nastiness. That the job of this organ is to create death and destruction and nastiness. And it runs out here and it goes all the way up that yellow fluty looking stuff on his neck. This is his neck right here. You see these scales? That's the fluty looking stuff where all the nastiness is coming up. And it comes right up to here and it comes out and squirts out into his beards. Those two things are his beards. This one creates the most nasty stuff that's probably ever been seen on the face of planet Earth. And this one, I don't know what it's doing. You see how it divides out? It comes through here and it sort of divides. This one creates this, whatever this is. I don't know, there's some kind of organ there that's working with this thing, I think. And this one divides off. And all of that nastiness is coming down. You see how ugly, nasty, vicious, ugly, vile looking stuff. And where is it going? It's going at that fish. And here, this is the fish. This is coming right out of his mouth. Right at the fish. This is the fin. All right, take your time. I'm going to erase that pin. Oops. How do you erase it? Oh well, looks like it's not getting erased. Anyway, it's spitting right down at the fish. And it landed on the fish's back, and it actually ate through the fish's vital flesh right here. And you can actually see down into the blood vessels. If you know anybody's a doctor, they can easily tell you what's going on here. These are arteries. And the arteries break off into the little blood vessels. And then the blood vessels break off into the capillaries. And then the capillaries, like this here, dump right into the veins. Veins are very porous. They're not just one big tube that runs up. They're porous. And they suck up all the fluids that are left over after you use all the good stuff, which is the red stuff. They end up being in the body blue. In mud fossils, they turn black. And this is all recorded in the ancient texts. Now, why people are out there putting numbers on the desert floor, I do not know. But I can see there's people all over the place there. Now, I found a place out here. I don't know where it is. I'd have to go back to my video. But somewhere out in here, there's a structure on the side of the mountain that is just shouldn't be there. And it looked like a big window pane or something. Anyway, that's on a couple of videos back. But it just keeps getting more and more interesting. Huh, I never noticed that before. Those almost look like muscle sarcomeres. They could very well be. It's right at the jaw. They look just like muscle sarcomeres, really tough. And they look like they anchor over in there somewhere. Like that's an abrupt transition. And this is some tough stuff. Sarcomeres are your muscles, and they pull in together. That could very well be. I mean, he's a creature. He's got all the parts you have, or, well, not all, or actually got quite a bit different. But he goes all the way from here, all the way across North Africa. His tail is still over here. You see it? This runoff here is not just some accidental thing. This is a swale. And the blood comes down and it drains down into here, and then it has to go somewhere, and it runs out there. Just like up the other end of his body, all of that stuff, and his tail goes all the way out to here. It's feathered. It's got feathers on the end. Up here, you see all this stuff, same thing, running off. All of this stuff is running off of a dead, decaying body. All right, this isn't part of his body. His body ends up right here at the dragon scales. You see all these dragon scales? This is his throat. You see all these little cleaves here and there? Those are all so that he can bend his throat. If it was just one big mountain range, he's just going, here he can do what he wants. All right, it bends. This is the actual his throat. I believe these are his tonsils. I have no idea what these are, but they appear to be something that's biologically built into here. Why it's here? They could be his tonsils. I don't know. That's not an accident. Everything else moves right straight down. You don't want something getting caught in your throat. Why are those? I got a feeling there's tonsils. I don't know what else to say. You see it here? There's no other tonsils. There's no bumps in there. It's the only place. And then it comes all the way up, and these are his beards. Here's his red flared eye. His head comes around. There's his nose. And that's his whole body, runs all the way down. Now, it said in the texts he was cut by Zeus with his great and mighty sword right here on his throat. And that is exactly correct. That is a cut straight across his throat, and black and red is the colors of blood running out in the desert. Now, I have shown this many times. Now, Mr. MB333 posting about something that's happening out there, that's fine, but this is pretty significant, and this is literally covered up. I mean, I can't believe it can go for 10 years. I've been showing this 10 years. And you don't hear anything. Nobody in the mainstream will talk about this because this thing is 1,200 miles long. It really overthrows everything that we've heard in the ancient text. I mean, in the modern text. And what's taught in schools. Everything. Literally everything, top to bottom. And the myths have a great deal of evidence to support them now. And again, this is what I studied here was Atlantis. I know this is Atlantis. There's zero question. And it's exactly where Plato said it was outside the straits. You say, well, there's no straits here. Yes, there is. There is a straits here. And here it is right here. That would have entered into the Sahara Ocean. And the ancient maps show an ocean in here. You got to go way back and find them, but you can see an ocean showing up in here. I think they like the Egyptian maps or something. And this all collapsed one day. And right around the edge of the waterway here, which would have been the entrance to get through there, and a very small entrance at that. And it collapsed. The eye. Plato said they mined under the eye till there was nothing left, and the whole thing just collapsed. And this is it right here. It ran, all that stuff ran around the edge and flushed right over Atlantis. And as Plato said, they will never speak of mud again. You imagine how much mud that ran out? And where did it go? Right here, created the Cape Verde Islands. It just piled up here, and then it skirted right around and skirted right around. This is a flat alluvial plain. There's just nothing there but mud. and it came out of here straight across. And I believe it was at the time this attack was taking place. That's all I can see. But anyway, those numbers were interesting, Mr. MB33. Thank you, man.